More and more, it seems we've been hearing from prospective clients as well as friends and family that they aren't sure whether their financial advisor is a fiduciary. Many people have heard the term, but they aren't sure what to do with it. They like their advisor just fine, maybe, but they aren't armed with the tools for how to actually assess their advisor or compare them with others in the industry. In today's Street Smarts, I'm going to explain what it means to be a fiduciary financial advisor and how there are a lot of advisors out there who do not have to act in your best interest as the client, and why it matters. Spoiler alert, it matters because it costs you money. By definition, a financial fiduciary is someone who is legally bound to acting in the best interest of a client. I know it is perplexing to many people unfamiliar with our financial industry that an advisor would even be allowed to not act in their client's best interest. And look, I'm with you. It feels like the sort of protection that consumers need, frankly. And at the bare minimum, it seems like this should be a very easy thing to conclude about an advisor without having to do any digging. Luckily, there are more tools now than ever before, so let's walk through them. Firstly, the term financial advisor casts a pretty wide net. It could sort of mean anything from investment management or financial planning, both of which are what Hound Wrestling does, to banking or insurance sales or options trading. And it all comes down to how the person and firm are regulated and compensated. There are three main categories: registered investment advisors, registered representatives, and dual registered. If you take one thing away from today, let it be that first camp: registered investment advisors. RIAs and their employees are regulated by the SEC, or states depending on their size, and they must always act as fiduciaries. They're legally bound to that standard, whereas the next two categories, registered reps and dual registered reps, are not. They're broker-dealers or hybrid broker-dealers who are held to a lower suitability standard because they aren't simply in the business of giving advice, they're in the business of making commissions off specific products that they sell to their clients, at least some or all of the time. Let that be the first red flag if someone is trying to sell you any sort of product at all. To be clear, Hound Wrestling is not a broker-dealer. We are a registered investment advisor, and because of that distinction, without knowing anything else about us, you can know that we aren't selling you products that we earn commissions on, and we are legally held to a fiduciary standard 100% of the time. The only way we and other fiduciary registered investment advisors make money is from our clients' management fees. That is another badge we wear with pride, a term known as fee only. We do not earn commissions on investments, nor do we get a fee when we buy or trade securities. Because of this, fee-only financial advisors generally have fewer conflicts of interest than other advisors, and we still must disclose any conflicts that we do have. Not all advisors are fee-only. There are commission-only advisors as well as fee-based advisors. Both of those types may earn money from commissions or from referral fees. Okay, so why does it matter? Why should you care that your advisor is a fee-only fiduciary? I think you should care on an emotional and psychological level because I think any advisor that you are engaging to manage your financial nest egg should be someone that you trust to be a good steward of your hard-earned money, without any conflict of interest in giving advice. However, if that doesn't get you riled up, you should care because you are wasting money that you wouldn't have to otherwise be spending if your advisor is commission-based. If not held to a fiduciary standard, even if a broker has the very best intentions, which let's assume they do for the purposes of this conversation, the very model or system in which they're operating puts them in a precarious position where it benefits them to select products or services for you that compensate them very handsomely compared with those that do not. Wouldn't you rather know your advisor doesn't even have to wrestle with that conflict at all? For non-fiduciary advisors, as long as an investment is suitable to the client's risk profile, time frame, and objectives, they can recommend a very expensive product to the client because the broker herself is compensated very well for it. Oftentimes, the expense ratios or load fees of such products are hidden, so clients don't even really know the fees they're paying for products on top of any management fees they're used to paying. And what amount of those fees are ending up in their advisor's pocket in the form of commission? So, how can you tell if someone is a fiduciary advisor? Firstly, I wouldn't be afraid to simply ask. This is a very straightforward question, and if your advisor says anything really other than simply yes, full stop, then I would venture to say that is another red flag, and they're likely not a fiduciary. But if you'd like to confirm this information yourself, a good starting point would be through the SEC's website. The SEC has an advisor search tool, and if the firm is a registered investment advisor, they will have been required to file an annual Form ADV, which outlines the firm's services, fees, credentials, disciplinary history, things like that. The Form ADV Part 2A specifically is actually a longer form brochure which spells out in pretty plain English everything you'd ever want to know about how the firm operates, how it makes money from its various services. However, remember, the dual registered category of advisors that I mentioned, those firms are a little confusing, yet again, because they too will have filed Form ADV, but they will have some disclosures in it and on their website about the products that they offer in accordance with their broker-dealer affiliation. For that reason, once you've done your SEC digging, there are also a few online resources for finding specifically fee-only fiduciary advisors. Smart Asset, NAPFA, and the CFP board are different resources whose websites function similarly. Use the search tool to find fee-only fiduciary advisors near you. Those websites may not be as complete as the SEC, given advisors have to pay to be represented, but they're a reliable tool for finding fiduciary advisors. Look, I'm with you. None of this should be this complicated or murky or disconcerting. It is something we see with prospective clients all the time. We can take one look at their statement and one glance at their advisor's website and know that the advice they've been getting and the products they've been put in, unfortunately, have not been the most cost-effective ones and have been first and foremost benefiting the advisor. Again, this doesn't necessarily make your advisor a bad person or even a bad advisor. It simply makes your advisor conflicted. Rely on a fee-only fiduciary registered investment advisor, however, and you can rest assured that there is no underlying conflict that exists. And when it comes to assessing a potential advisor, once you've narrowed it down to a few different fiduciary options, my best advice would be this: listen to your gut. You shouldn't feel indifferent toward your advisor. You should trust your advisor implicitly, insofar as you are comfortable giving them discretion. You should feel comfortable calling them at any time. You should be able to call them anytime. You should know the person responsible for managing your account. And if it's a team, you should be comfortable with each member of that team. You should hear from them, and they should come to mind when you're faced with any kind of financial predicament or question or need. You should wonder what their advice would be and want to talk through long-term goals with them. If any of that is not the case, or if you find yourself not really sure exactly what it is that your advisor does for you besides manage your mutual funds for you, another red flag, I might add. Mutual funds are vehicles with multiple layers of opportunities to tack on fees that you might not even see. Anyway, the point is, I would urge you to shop around. There is simply no harm in interviewing new firms, especially now that you're armed with all of the above information on how to assess an advisor. And by the way, one industry certification that should give you an added layer of peace of mind is the CFP marks after somebody's name. The Certified Financial Planner certification has been the standard of excellence for financial planners for decades. CFP professionals take a holistic, personalized approach to bring all the pieces of your financial life together, and as part of their CFP certification, they've made a commitment to act as a fiduciary when providing financial planning advice to you. At How in Wrestling, we always say, choose a team that you want to stand beside you. Know the team who stands beside you. It is one of the healthiest financial moves you can make now to change your financial trajectory well into the future. Thank you for tuning into Street Smarts. See you next time.